Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second round of the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship live at Suzuka. I am your host, SDM_RDZ, and today we are embracing another round of exciting racing here on the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship here, starting off with the Pro-Am division here at Suzuka International Circuit. And as we take a look down the field now, you may notice that there is a missing number 22 Aston Martin of Kyle. So you're wondering where he has gone. He has actually moved up to the Pro class after taking the first win of the Pro-Am season at Bathurst. So that Aston Martin, two-time and defending Pro-Am champion, has now moved up into the Pro ranks, which is a very, very uplifting promotion. Of course, we do have 8 cars here set for today at the Suzuka International Circuit, with Grand J10 in the McLaren 650S, the number 15 right there. So we unfortunately do not have Sorry I Got No ID in the number 16 McLaren, so that is a miss for today. Let's start off with the top of the field now. Patrolhead back in the number 44 Corvette. Consistent top 5 finish for him, but on road, but after penalties and disqualifications yesterday, after the last race with the Pro-Am guys, we had to settle for a podium finish, which was actually very nice because both Mercedes of Superboy and Wide Road Billy did not have the correct decals required for the car, so that was a instant disqualification right there, unfortunately. So they are back and they're looking to start off their championship fresh here. Dude in the number 14 Aston Martin. Of course, when one Aston Martin leaves, one comes. The car is very consistent in the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship. We got Bar 27, who takes the seat of B75 in B27 Corvette. Next is Mouchelat, who looked very strong last weekend, but unfortunately the results did not pave the way as seen in qualifying for the race. So they bring their Porsche up. Alt Maverick, as well in the Fly America 911 RSR, number 41. Grand J10 there. And then Chris the Crow in the Blancpain sponsored Ferrari 4x Fate Italia. So he will be looking to get set the pace. So we are starting to see the flying laps now of these guys. Patrolhead now in front of Superboy. So let's just ride on board now. With about 6 minutes 43 seconds left on the clock. And also, as we take a gander at the race here, take a look at the chat. Jordan Washington says hello. Hello, Jordan. Thank you for tuning into the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship, where we do expect some exciting racing to unfold, of course. And I do have to put the link in the Discord as well. Superboy Patrolhead now coming through for the last chicane to the final corner now for his first flying lap. And his first flying lap is going to be a 2:01.2, so that is the pace setter for the race. And Superboy, 23 thousandths behind. That is extremely close right about there. That is an amazing performance right there for these guys. Dirt Dude now going even 25 thousandths faster than Patrolhead, so 2:01.206. So very, very close qualifying here all around. Just amazing stuff that we're seeing here in the Straight Line Motorsports Championship. Mouchelat and Bar 27, the next 2 cars across the line. What do they have? 55 now going into the final corner. Looks like a very strong lap. And it looks like he might be setting up for the next flyer lap. 2:01.4, so that's not bad. A 2:09.7 for Bar, so he's had an incident somewhere, unfortunately. And James said, just to confirm, I'm the spotter for Sunny from Red Wine in the lobby. We'll be watching and noting down any incidents on track with Stewards Investigate. So, of course, James said, not on the commentary box, but will be the live steward for the event here today. Grand J10 now across the line. A 2:02.8 for 5th fastest. Behind Mouchelat. 1.6 off the pole sitting time. Next car coming across the line is Chris the Crow. Looks like he might be setting up for a flyer, going wide out of that final corner. Alt Maverick, he's had a terrible lap at 2:27, so he's had a couple incidents somewhere on the track. I'm not sure exactly where, but this man right here. Unfortunately, my roommate walked in on me for a couple seconds because we are cleaning the house right now, and so whenever I have the breaks needed to step away and take care of that, I will take care of that, take care of the cleaning and take care of the cleanup of the media as fast as I can. As Dude goes even faster than his 2:01.2. A 2:09.73 is the time to beat, and he looks to be slowing up, so he might have another lap. Definitely went slower that lap. Patrolhead not improving on his 2:01.2 with it. And Super Mushalot even going faster with a 2:01.099, so about a tenth and a quarter behind the pace-setting Aston Martin. Barr with a 2:01.5, which puts him fifth fastest, so very, very strong showing all around, of course, in this championship. And I do apologize for the music in the background, unfortunately, as my roommates do like to blast loud music in this house, and unfortunately, if it gets me a copyright strike, then unfortunately, that's something that's completely out of my control. Let me see if I can turn down the gain a little bit here. That might have done the trick. I'm just experimenting with things right here. So now, Dude coming through 130R to the chicanes. I think he's setting up himself for a final flying lap here, 55 at the chicane, so he's definitely setting himself up for a final flying lap. What can he do in the Aston Martin that is super quick in the Pro-Am division here? So he's off for a flying lap now. Let's go on board with him from the driver's cockpit. He does have his windshield wipers on. I'm not sure why, but I think that might be some sort of issue with the electrical, and I'm just saying that for realistic purposes. So through first corners, of course, and through the winding S's that are so iconic and so famous throughout the world, especially through Formula One. And we do have a stopped car somewhere. I'm not sure where that is, and that is the Ferrari of Chris the Crow. So that is a slow car on the track right now. He has set a 203. So 28 seconds left to go on the clock. So 23 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if any final laps are going to be made. Grand J10, ooh, gets it a little wide. He's had a 232 last lap, so he's definitely had an off somewhere of some sort. He had a massive incident. So now let's see if he's going to be on another flying lap, a 2:11.4. So he has to put a perfect lap at 5, 4. Chris the Crow will get one more lap. Qualifying is over. So now, let's see these cars that are coming through. Patrolhead now, third fastest, is the first guy to cross the line. Oh, someone's had it off. I think that might be Grand J10, I think, or probably Chris the Crow. Patrolhead now coming across the line. Will he improve? Unfortunately not, so he is going to settle for third. Dude now coming through. Dude's going to be the first one He's had an incident somewhere, so he's unfortunately not going to improve on that lap. Superboy does not improve, so a lot of these times, which have been setting the pace midway through the session, has not been the way. Barnout coming through the final corner. He's had a terrible lap as well, so this is a very, very dramatic way to end qualifying. Oh, and Grand J10's gone off into the wall in first corner. And Mushalot can't improve on that either, so very, very dramatic way for qualifying. Alt Maverick and one more guy, Chris the Crow, he will have another lap. And that's my phone, which I will mute right away. And after qualifying is sorted, we will take a look at the media you guys are putting and posting. Alt Maverick now. Oh, he's going very, very slow, so he's definitely not had a good lap somewhere, so yeah, I think he's just trying to finish up qualifying. Grand J10 at the first corner. Chris the Crow now, what has he been setting, obviously? He hasn't been setting green sector laps, so he's definitely not on for a good lap. Alt Maverick with a 2:02.1, so that's quite a surprise for a lap right there. Never mind, I apologize for that. He's down the order. So now, Chris the Crow, can he improve? Yes, he can by 2/10, but it is not enough to improve a position, unfortunately, so he will bring up the back of the grid. Your top dirt dude, the man on pole position, showing to Aston Martin's true grunt and true strength with the V12 engine. 6.0 liter V12 is so prominent within these Aston Martins, just makes them very different from the rest of the field, obviously. So now that qualifying is over, we will take a look at the media you guys are sending. Doug Barrow says, "Hi gents, and good luck. We do wish the best of all these racers." Hair Razor says, "Good luck." Ben L said, "I am Grand J10, by the way," as Jordan Washington says, "because it can." By Ben L and Keith Boy. That's a close one. It is a very close qualifying here. 8 cars for the Pro-Am race here today, as Durdude is very excited to get this race started with the flicker of the windshield wipers. And also, guys, do not be afraid to leave your thoughts and comments below in the live chat. I will always get on to writing those. Right, 60 minutes now for this race here. When do we go green flag? It is green flag now, and a very strong start right there for Dirty right there. And it looks like Mushalot, who went up to second, has now dropped down to 4th, even 5th. So that's not a good start right there for one of the Porsches. As the field now goes through turn 1. Oh, we've already had an off in the form of Grand J10. So unfortunately for him, not having a good showing with the McLaren, unfortunately. So he gets underway. Oh, it's so tight indeed. Superboy, who had a very good race last time out at Bathurst, was unfortunately disqualified. He's looking to redeem himself. Durdude now getting a little squirrely out of that corner right there. Oh, who's going to be the one to go off? Everyone makes it through unscathed, including Grand J10, so it's very, very close indeed. Let's go to variable camera here for these shots. Oh, and Durdude almost cuts the corner, almost. And it looks like Superboy in the previous gen Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG GT3. That's a mouthful, I know, is going to be right there, and it's going to be very, very hungry for that first place spot indeed. Oh, and Durdude goes wide, but Superboy is going to be right on the back bumper of him. Let's go on board now. And I hate when this happens, of course. But I have to go back and do that. Right, on board now with the number 29 Mercedes of Superboy, who has been very, very strong indeed in this Pro-Am division. Completely on the back bumper right here. And Barr's had an incident somewhere who's dropped down to 7th, so unfortunately I wasn't able to capture that, but let's just take our eyes back on this field now. And it looks like Superboy went a little conservative going into 130R. Oh, but is he going to dive it down to the inside maybe? No, he's too far back to make a dive down to the inside. Everyone getting through unscathed. Oh, and I checked that. Oh, Maverick's a little squirrely. Oh, and someone's gone around, and that is Grand J10 with rear bumper damage, so he's definitely, I assume, missed his breaking point or got a foot wrong onto the grass. He continues on because the damage is on light. But you can see the damage to the back of that McLaren. Left corner panel into that tire barrier. Oh, and someone's gone off at the first corner, and it's Alt Maverick. Oh no, one of the Porsche 911 RSRs has gone around, and Grand GT3 might be able to scoop away this 7th position after his incident with the wall. So Grand GT3 able to get out of last. Back up to the front now for this leading battle. Super, super close indeed between all of these guys. Patrol head now getting some strong consistency on the Corvette. I say that. Oh, and he almost puts a foot wrong right there. Oh, and is getting very, very sideways out of Degner 2. And that set up Mouchelat in the 2nd place starting Porsche right back up into the podium positions. And Patrol head might be starting to feel a bit of pressure in here. Oh, and Patrol head goes a little wide, a little squirrely out of the corner. And Mouchelat's going to file right back in under his slipstream. So very, very strong racing between these two guys. And Alt Maverick has left the room, but I did see him leave before he disconnected, so that is not a disconnect. I think that's just him leaving the lobby on his own accord, unfortunately. So we are down 1 Porsche. I wasn't able to spot what happened to him. Oliver Smalley says, "Oh, to see Patrol head and car do great." Of course, it is the 2 Corvettes here. And it looks like the top 2 may have been splitting off, but the battles are not far from over between these 2 guys for 3rd and 4th. For that final step on the podium, and it's only lap 2, we have about 55 minutes and 55 seconds on the clock left. Patrol head now onto the inside now. Mouchelat's going to follow. Who's going to make the late braking move? Can Mouchelat make a move down into the first corner right here? It's too far back, unfortunately, so... Eth Boy says this is a great battle to bring up. I could not agree more. This is a very, very interesting racing here. On board with the rear view camera of Patrol head now looking back at the green Porsche of Mouchelat. And Mouchelat didn't have the great performance that he was looking for at Bathurst after having a strong qualifying. Purple sector now for Patrol head, so he's fastest of everybody into sector 1. Oh, and someone's gone off. Who is that going off? Oh, and the race leader has gone off. Dude has put a foot wrong out of the S's out of the first sector into the second one, and now he's having to fight Dude now, and now he's having to fight Mouchelat to stay into the top 3. And all of a sudden, this battle for second has turned on its head. Oh, and Dude's putting a foot wrong, and he's falling back down to 4th out of the race lead within 2 sectors right here. Oh my goodness, indeed. Everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong for Dude in the pole sitting Aston Martin. Now he's got a tall order to make back up all over the back of the Porsche of Mouchelat, who moves up into 3rd, and the Corvette of Patrol head has moved up into 2nd, and it has gifted Superboy a comfortable lead now. To put the pressure on the leaders has now paid off for the remainder of this race. Oh, and the move made possibly the 130R. Patrol head defends on the inside. He is oh so close. Look at the action right here. He is super, super close. Defending to the inside here now for the chicane right here. Mouchelat, what has he got in store? Oh, and he's oh so close indeed. Let's go on board with the Aston Martin of Dude, who is monitoring this battle. Right along the pit wall is Patrol head, and these 2 cars are going to follow up. Insanely close racing for all 3 of these guys who are fighting for 2nd place. Patrol head now having to take a tighter line on through for their first corner. Oh, and this is insanely close racing between these three guys. And while all this is happening, this is letting Bar 27 get very, very close onto the back of these cars. So we might have a 4-car Pro-Am battle from 2nd all the way down to 5th unfolding right here. So the battles right now are not far from over, and I don't think will definitely be far from over. Mouchelat still only a 10th at a bumper's width right there. Oh, and is he going to try and make a move into Degner 1 on the outside? Patrol head now on the inside now, having to defend that position. A yellow flag right now. Oh, and Superboy's gone around. Oh my goodness gracious. Everything has gone wrong before the 2 leaders. Dude and Superboy have put a foot wrong, and all of a sudden, Patrolhead in the 44 is leading this race, and Mooshlot is right up there. Oh my goodness and gracious. Everything in the first 10 minutes of the race that could have gone wrong has gone wrong indeed. I cannot believe what is going on with my own two eyes. Patrolhead now, who started third, is leading this race, and Mooshlot has fought himself back into the position where he started, and Durdude now in third place, Bar in fourth, and Superboy all of a sudden has got a very, very tall order to make back up into that 29 Mercedes. Oh, and Mooshlot's got all the second place out of 130R. I can't believe what is going on in the first 8 minutes of this race. This is unbelievable stuff right here. Mooshlot has got to get that car pointed in the right direction. I cannot believe what is going on. Durdude now has gone up into second, and Bar's gone up into third. Oh, and he's picked up a 1 second penalty, I assume, for something. And the running order all of a sudden has been completely turned on its head. The tables have been flipped. Everything's been flipped on its head. There's too many factors that have been going on into this race. So now, oh, and someone's gone wrong, and it is Chris the Crow. Unfortunately, he was gone up into fifth. Mooshlot now gone up into fifth. Grand J10 in sixth. Grand J10 having put a foot wrong, couple feet wrong. Oh my goodness gracious. Within the first 10 minutes, I think I've seen more incidents in a race happen. I don't think I've seen more incidents in a race happen in the first few minutes of this race than anything. And all of a sudden, the battle could be spiking back right on up as Durdude, which I thought he had a tall order, of course, made this a lot easier for everything. So now, let's see the comments that you have all been posting. Great battle, oh my god, dirty tires, 54 minutes, anything could happen, what a battle. Eve Boy saying, who do you think is going to win now? I mean, if people are going to keep putting a foot wrong in this race, I have no idea. And plus, it is still 50 minutes left in the race, obviously. So only the first 10 minutes, which have been pretty much the most chaotic in this race. And this is the race of survival now. I could not agree more. And the battle for the lead is once again about to be arranged between the 44 and the 14. Patrolhead doing absolutely amazing defending work right here in the Haas sponsored Corvette and the Aston Martin and the hot. I can't really make out the sponsor right there. So I think it might be Burget Power, Bureaucrat Power as the sponsor. Bureaucrat Power. Someone correct me in the sponsors for. Someone correct me in the comments below if I'm saying that correctly. Bar still with that 1 second penalty. Of course, Durdude right now after his spin is a man on a mission right now to take back first place. The curious thing though is that Patrolhead has better tires right now than Durdude, obviously. So these Corvettes better on tire wear, but the Aston Martin is better on fuel. So might this pay in the favor of the Aston Martin, of course. Oh, and Durdude's got it almost wrong indeed. That all says roar pot power. Roar pot power. I should probably just stop right now and just say roar pot power. There we go. I got it right about now. Oh no, and Bar's had it off somewhere and he's got front end damage. Oh, can he keep it on the course? Oh my goodness me, everything that has gone wrong to the front of the field has just gone wrong again. This is unbelievably stuff. Now, I wasn't able to capture the spin, unfortunately for him, but Bar having a 2/10 penalty right about now. This race has just... I can't believe what has happened this race right about now. Everything that has gone wrong in this race has gone wrong. Third place just spun. Bar has just gone off. Indeed so. And he's still got he's still got a penalty to serve, unfortunately. And with about 47 minutes to go, we should be starting to look at pit stops occur pretty soon. But at the same time, we still have this battle for the lead that is still raging on at the front of the field. Benel saying Der Dude is from Ruhrgebiet, a region in Germany. I do appreciate the feedback, of course, from our lovely Straight Line Motorsports and GT3 Championship competitors who are running in the Pro Division, who are also taking the time to, of course, monitor the race, which is always a good thing for these guys. So now I am in the process of moving my iPad, so, of course, and the battle right now between half a second right here. Oh, and someone's gone around, and I think that is, yes, that is Grand J10, unfortunately, who was spinning on the mini-map that looked very, very violently indeed right here. Oh, and the gap's now half a second right now between the top two right now. Who's going to put a foot wrong in this race? So it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Who will get the top spot? Mouchelot is slow. Mouchelot's slow out of the second dangler, so I assume he's had to spin somewhere. Bar still got to serve that penalty. Superboy now is 7 seconds off of these top two competitors right about here. So now, oh, and he's just super close right now. 2/10 right now is the gap indeed right now. Was there any contact or just driver spins? I think it was just mainly just people just spinning themselves out, in all honesty. I want to say it's just because of the fact that it's a very, very close race. We're just putting a foot wrong. Oh, and Superboy's gone wide at 130R. Just able to keep it in the right direction, of course. But that might invite a battle for Bar to maybe be able to get back up there. Of course, he will have to serve if the game will let him. I've never seen a race get so tipped upside down in 10 minutes. Let's put it this way, it's been tipped on its head, upside down, the tables have been flipped, and everything has been turned on its head within the first 10 minutes of this race. I could not expect a more chaotic start to this race within 10 minutes of a 60-minute sprint race. So that shows how much chaos can be in a race. So the battle right now still for first. Very, very close. And it looks like that Aston Martin might be good in top speed. The Corvette might have the torque and acceleration to be able to get away. Oh, and the overdrive right there for the Aston Martin. And all of a sudden right now, Superboy's got the penalty, and Bar has cleared that penalty. Oh, and Superboy's gone off! Oh, he's gone off at Spoon! Oh no, he's got to sacrifice that third place position right there. And both Corvettes are now back up into third. Patrolhead still defending. The action is far from done. Oh, it's just oh so close indeed between all these guys. Oh, Patrolhead might have to defend on the inside. Oh, the dirt on the outside, and he's taking the lead of this race. The overdrive of the Aston Martin has put itself back up in front. Oh, and they almost hit each other going into the first corner. And Dirty just swept around on the outside across the pit straight into turn one and has taken the lead of this race once again. The man who had a spin out earlier has basically had everything gone wrong against him. He kept the pressure. He kept the pressure under control and has been able to collectively be able to make the ground back up and is able to get the race lead back. So that is a strong showing right there for the man in first place now. The pole sitter right now back up in front which has worse tires than the Corvette, obviously, who is on an overdrive and it gets it a little bit wrong into Degner 1. Loses a bit of time into Degner 2, obviously, because he's got to get the cart pointed in the right direction. The Aston Martin is better on fuel, but the Corvette is better on tires. So mechanical grip now at this rate has to come in favor of that Corvette. Oh, you can't overdrive it like that, of course, because now the gap is 1.2 seconds and is slightly growing right now. If you were in patrol heads ahead right now, you would have to obviously drive out the tires for the last remainder of this stint, because sooner or later pit stops will be cycling on through. So now the gap has grown now to 1.3 seconds, and as soon as the top speed phase of these cars kicks in, it is going to kick in the way of that Corvette, which there are 2 Corvettes now in the top 3, with Bar 27, the only American in this race at the moment, doing a very, very strong job indeed. So now with about a minute and 46 now away to the 40-minute mark, who will be coming into the pits right now. These top 2 are going to still stay out. Bar 27 still defending from Superboy. Will Barr make his way into the pits is the question. He stays out, but gets a second penalty, so that's not a, so that's it. Gets a 1 second penalty right there, so he's got to serve that, of course. Mouchelot still stays out. Chris the Crow, a little ways away, but not too far away, to make up some lost ground in the Ferrari. Will he come into the pits? No, he will definitely not come into the pits. Grand J10, unfortunately, still ways away, but he will probably come in. That Corvette is getting low on fuel. Wait a minute, Durdu's Durdu's has to sacrifice the lead somewhere. Oh my goodness gracious! What has happened here? What has happened to Durdu that all of a sudden, I look down the field and Patrolhead all of a sudden is in the lead? What in the world has gone wrong for Durdu in the late stages of this first stint? Oh my goodness me, and I thought the drama was all over. Patrolhead now, once again, in the lead. This has obviously become a game of musical chairs who will win this race, and we are not even in the pit stop phases now, so pit stops action will be coming in pretty shortly. The gap now, 1.1 seconds now. Harris is saying, what? And then Ben L saying, OMG, not again. OMG, not again is the right way to put it, of course. Because Durdu, I have no idea what happened. All of a sudden, we have a Corvette that is now leading the race once again. Patrolhead not putting a foot wrong in this race, but the strong pace of that Aston Martin in the hands of Durdu coming into the favor. Now, 20 minutes have elapsed. Will we start seeing pit stops? Yes, we will. The leader comes in, and Durdu is going to stay on out. So the half-sponsored 44 Corvette of Patrolhead is going to come in for his first stop, presumably with low fuel. The tire wear is good, but it's going to have to take a lot of fuel for this first stint. So that's going to be a full tank, obviously, going into this first race. We have Superboy, Mouchelot, and Barr, who are all coming across. The fuel's still going into that Corvette, and he is now on out. That's going to probably be a fuel tank. Yes, it will be. 18 seconds is now the gap between him and Durdude. And all eyes are going to be on Durdude coming in to this next stint. Mouchelot having a bit of damage. Chris the Crow, of course, in the Ferrari will come in. It is very good on fuel, but obviously the rear tires are saying another thing, that they are obviously needing the grip. Grand J10 still a ways away, unfortunately. So I assume full fuel going into that Ferrari. Oh, 85 liters, so he might stretch it out a little bit, but if he can make up the lost time, he's about 53 seconds down, so he will probably have to come in for another stop. Grand J10 in the 15 McLaren. Of course, not having a good day, but of course... Oh, and he gets it very sideways out of 130R. That was insane right there. That's how you get the coffee flowing. Oh, and he's gone off. Why can he keep it on? Yes, he can, of course. So now with pit stops, Cycling on the way. Oh, and there's a move made from Superboy, but he gets it wrong for the over-under made by Barr. So he's back up into second, but he's claimed a penalty. So the GT Sport penalty system not working in the favor of Bar 27. So that's not good news right there. Dude right now, with 37 minutes on the clock, has stretched the fuel out, and he will come into the pits this time. So the leading Aston Martin with just a single liter of fuel left in that car. You couldn't have asked for a more perfect stint. Tires going on, fresh Continentals, and he will wait for the pits. Superboy coming in, and so is Barr. Mouchelot will inherit the lead of this race, but he has to come in. Patrolhead now will pass Durdude, and Durdude is coming out of the pits right now, and Patrolhead's going into turn 1. So Patrolhead now having gained time on his outlap right now. So that's very, very good right there. Bar 27 still having that penalty to serve. And Superboy now in 5th. Chris the Crow in 6th. And Grand J10, which I assume might try and go for the 1 stop, but I think that might not work in his favor, unfortunately. So Mouchelot will inherit the lead, but he will have to pit. So the theoretical race leader of this race at the moment is still Durdude. So, after the first cycle of pit stops, we still expect Mouchelot to pit, but we will see Patrolhead inherit the lead of this race, and Durdude now behind by 2.5 seconds. So, of course, I am monitoring the discussion for the pro guys in the YouTube discussion, so it's always good to see you guys are speaking aloud and proud in the live chat. Oh, and I think Grand J10 has gone off around. Oh, and that's a very big spin out of turn 1. So this will be interesting. Mouchelot will actually still go on for one more lap. Grand J10 will have to be weary of the rest of the field coming through. He will be shown the blue flag as seen right now, so he will have to give away. He will have to move out of the way. As you can see right there, he does move off to the side. Still blue flag shown. Oh, and almost. Oh, that's almost so close right there. Respectable driving for Grand J10. The young gentleman driver, of course, not getting in anybody's way. He's just trying to have a good time, of course, on the track, which is always a good thing. Mouchelot, low on fuel. So TIJSR asks, am I going to race with us too one time? Ooh, that's a very, very interesting question indeed, of course, as I am the usual full-time commentator here for the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship and the Mazda MX-5 Cup Championship. If there is some lucky gentleman out there who would love to take my seat for one of the Mazda MX-5 Cup Championship races, I will definitely race, obviously, in the Mazdas, so I will take the time to do that. So now it looks like after the first round of pit stops, I say that things were about to settle down, but I guess not. So we got another battle unfolding right now between the Mercedes and the Corvette. Can the Mercedes dive it down? No, not entirely. You don't want to pull off another Sebastian Vettel on Max Verstappen, obviously. So thank God Superboy backed out of that one. So Mouchelot, will he come into the pits? Yes, he will. So the man who got second place on starting position will have to sacrifice first, I should say, and get some new Michelin's or Yokohamas on that car. I apologize for Not saying that correctly. And Superboy has got the move done on these guys. Where will Mushalot come out? They're coming across the start-finish line now. Mushalot comes across right now. They're passing Mushalot, and Mushalot has got the form back down in 5th, but he's right behind this battle for 3rd. So not all is lost, but they still have the McLaren of Grand J10 to pass, who will have to come in for his first stop, and he is going to try on the first stop. He does have his flashes on. I'm not sure what the reasoning for that is, but I assume he will have to come in for his first stop. Oh, and he's getting it very, very... So I'm being told that there is a chat on Discord. Let me see who that is. No, I stand corrected. Oh, and it looks like there might be a 3-car battle folding up here as Barr is on very, very worn rubber. Did he even take tires on his pit stop? That's a big question. Yeah, I do not think this guy right here took tires on his first stop. I think he just did fuel only, which might... It's a considerable risk to lose some time, but with the time the others are going to make back up on track, I don't think is worth the risk. And it looks like Barr's going to cover that driving line, or that racing line. And he's doing a very, very nice job defending. Oh, and hold up one second. We got another battle coming up for the leaders once again, and the tire wear and the fuel might be starting to pay the price for Patrol right now, as he... Once again, my roommate, of course, coming in and asking a couple things from me. So, it's all good for the time being. So, we go back to the action right here. And Superboy has gone off completely in the distance, 5 seconds away from these guys, and Mushalot is getting held up massively by Bar 27 in the Corvette. So he's got to find a way on through it, and it might be through here if he's late on the brakes. Bar doing a very defensive job defending into the first section. Oh, and I say that there's a battle going on for the lead, and Durdu had the lead briefly for a second in the turn 1, but Patrolhead does a nice job defending, keeping that inside driving line in for turn number 2. So now the battles are not far from over, and it's just about under race distance now. So while this battle's going on right here, it might not, it's still going to be very, very close indeed. Oh, and it looked like Patrolhead might have cut the course a little bit. Grand J10 right now making the 1 stop now, so he's going to make his pit stop. By the way that Patrolhead cut that corner, it looked like to be a penalty. Oh, and Durdude has gone it completely wide, so that's a very, very big weak sign for that Aston Martin right there. These two still going at it. Oh, and there definitely was contact made between the two guys, but Barr somehow kept it on. Grand J10 off now. This battle is not far from over, as I said in the past right now as they exit Spoon. Oh, and is that a pass? No, still Barr. Completely still on the edge right there. Oh, and these two are still going at it. The Corvettes, they looked very strong at Bathurst, but unfortunately, with how the race unfolded, they got a top 5. Both of them were in the top 5, but this might be their strong showing for a race win here, and Durdude's going to look around to the outside. Can he muscle the Aston Martin past the car? But the top speed of the Corvette is going to mount to the challenge as these two are going completely side by side into turn number 1. Who's going to hold on to the brakes longer? And it will be the Corvette up patrol head who will still keep that first place. So this battle still not over, and is just very, very tightly matched between these guys. A very, very close race indeed. And Mouchelat is going to come into the pits. So this might be a bit of a gamble for the Porsche to make this early stop. It was on those tires for about 15 minutes. He will fill up. So this is a very, very interesting call for the 5th place Porsche of Mouchelat. He does have the Ferrari now of Chris the Crow very behind. And I'm getting word now from the steward now. Mouchelat just had a moment at the final corner, lost it on the inside of the corner. So, by some bizarre chance, if he did slide into the pits and cost him a bit of time, that would be very, very bizarre. Indeed. TIJS asks, what is the best car for this circuit? Well, you're definitely going to want a car that can be very, very good in handling wise and is very, very good at speed. I did race here for a 3-hour enduro, for a 2-hour 20-minute enduro here last weekend, and the BMW looked very, very handling wise, but that was because of the fact that the top 2 who finished that race had sandbagged in races prior to get a performance advantage. So the BMW is a good car, just has to be very, very quick. The Mercedes AMG is also a good car. The Aston Martin is also a good car as well, because it won another league race here last year. Oh, and Durdude's gone wide again into turn number 1. So Durdude now feeling the pressure to try and get back up to the lead car, and Patrolhead has definitely just keeping it cool right now as his teammate Barr comes into the pits with 25 minutes to go. He has had enough of the tires, so he's definitely going to make the change over, and he's going to put the fuel in right now. Mouchelat now coming across the start-finish line, and Chris the Crow right here, can he break into the top 5 as Barr is coming out in front of him? Chris the Crow holding off a little bit. Superboy, who we weren't paying attention for the most part, has definitely gone himself back up into P3. So he's definitely got back up into 3rd, but he's basically all alone to himself. He's 17 seconds behind 2nd, but he's also 18 seconds ahead of Mouchelat in 4th. So if he can keep the race going as is right now, he might be looking at a strong and consistent 3rd place after his disqualification from last race at Bathurst. And also, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we also have podium Finishers. Oh, and Patrolhead goes wide out of 130R. Can this be some crucial moment right there? Oh, and Durdu's hurt around. He's taking out a brake marker out of 130R. Oh, and Patrolhead's going out of the final corner right now. Now the action is very, very heated up here indeed. Oh my goodness gracious. What we thought was going to be a very, very considerable win. Now this battle, when I thought Durdu messed his own race up, all of a sudden, Patrolhead has messed up his own race, and all of a sudden, the battle for first has very, very much heated up. Patrolhead has got front end damage on the front left suspension and the front bumper. Oh my goodness gracious me! This is unbelievable racing at its finest right here, and all of a sudden, Superboy with those two incidents from the top two, 11 seconds down. Oh my goodness gracious me! Durdu getting it wrong at a 130R, and then shortly after I see on the minimap Patrolhead getting it wrong into the chicane. Oh my goodness me. And we thought the first 10 minutes were chaotic. Certainly they were, and it looks like it might have spilled over before these final pit stops, because these guys have got to make one more pit stop, which is the more exciting part. The Aston Martin is very good on fuel. And I don't think much on the front tires can be said difference between these two cars. But the Aston Martin has worse rear tire wear than the Corvette. So the Corvette can get a little bit more power out of the corners, but in terms of cornering, might be the way. Oh no, it's actually the way of the Corvette. So I'm going to second what I said earlier about the Corvette's tires. It's very much better on the tires than the Aston Martin. But the Aston Martin, a much fuel efficient car, considering the fact that it's 12 cylinders over the 8 cylinders of the Corvette. So I'm not sure how that works, but it might be just game logic, I guess. So now 21 minutes left on the clock. I imagine these guys are going to go for one more lap, and they're probably going to pit at the same time in an effort to try and race each other to the line. Durdu might stay out for a little bit. What will Patrolhead do? Will he come in? No, so he will go on for another lap in an effort to try and stretch out the tires as much as I can and give himself the freshest rubber for that final stint. Superboy now in third, Mouchelot in fourth, Barr in fifth, Christopher Crow in seventh, and unfortunately a lap down is Grand J10, so unfortunately he hasn't had the best of days, as stated once again. TIJS says, wait, is the 100-meter board guard when you're saying after 130R? Yes, it is, because if you're able to look back, I'd say about a lap and a half ago, I won't spoil anything, but you can look back at the stream and see, of course, what in the absolute world has happened. So Chris Leclerc right now coming in for his final pit stop in the 71 Ferrari. In the 71 Ferrari, he will come in for the final pit stop. Braking is very difficult then. It's just about not putting a foot wrong, and who has put a foot wrong right there? And that is Grand J10, unfortunately. Oh, and that's going to be and that, unfortunately, right there is going to be a mass. Oh, and that's going to be him leaving the lobby. Of course, that wasn't a DC. That was just him leaving on his own accord, unfortunately. So that is not good news there. A very frustrating day. Of course, it's understandable for me, of course, because obviously you don't want a very frustrating day just like that. He's just had enough, and of course didn't have a good day. But of course we do have more battles to be sought and to be finished here for this race right here. I imagine Patrolhead is going to come into the pits right here, and Durdu is going to continue on with about 19 minutes left on the clock. So Patrolhead, will he come in? Yes, he will. And Durdu is going to stay on out. Been forced off by my parents. Oh, okay, so alright, so of course it's kind of unfortunate for Grand J10, unfortunately. Patrolhead now getting elapsed by Superboy and possibly by Mouchelot, who made that pit stop with 25 minutes to go, and so far it has not worked in his favor, because Patrolhead is still in third, and Bar 27 right now, who's running pretty high up in this race earlier, has still in fifth, and Chris the Crow still in sixth. So it might be the way of these front engine cars that are actually doing very, very solidly here for this race. So the gap now is 12 seconds right now for Dirtdude to Superboy, and Superboy is on better tires and on better fuel. So I imagine Superboy is definitely going to make one more stop for a fact. The question is, can he stretch out as much of the tires and as much of the fuel as he can to try and jump either Patrolhead or Dirtdude? Because Patrolhead right now, he's 8 seconds down off of Superboy and a further 11 down to Dirtdude, making it 19 seconds. The Aston Martin right here, showing the red level of the fuel. And I'm going to continue off of what I was going to say earlier. We do have the podium interviews for the top 3 podium finishers. And an interesting call right here for Dirtdude, who's going to pit now with about, I'm going to say about a tenth of fuel remaining. So, yes, that he doesn't have 9 liters of fuel, so it's going to be less time spent in the pits. But this is going to be an interesting call to see, oh, Superboy's going to make the pit now, so he's going to try and follow Dirtdude into the pits right here. What can Patrolhead right now do in terms of trying to get back up to the field right here? Oh, and there's Patrolhead's coming across the line right now, but Dirtdude has jumped Patrolhead in the pit stop cycle. So this is very, very good news right here. Oh my goodness me, and this is going to wind down to the wire right about here. Dirtdude doing an impressive job on the pace. Obviously spending less time in the pits for fuel, has jumped the Corvette of Patrolhead, and Patrolhead now, if he's going to want this win, he's going to have to do a very, very tall order and drive like an absolute mad stabbed rat at this rate. The gap now 1.3 seconds, and it's starting to go down a little bit, but wait until we get to the straight line sections of this course, and that Aston Martin might mount a challenge to keeping and maintaining that gap. Superboy now coming out in 5th. There's Bar, who I think is going to be close on fuel, so we will continue to monitor that situation, and the same as Mushalot. So, with the top 2 good on fuel, it's going to be interesting to see where this will go. Gap now 1.5. Dirtdude still continuing to lead the way. Mitchell Dodd says, hey. I say hello to Mitchell. Thank you for joining the Street Line Motorsports GT3 Championship. Live broadcast of the Pro-Am Championship, round number 2 here at the Suzuka International Circuit. We will have podium interviews for the top 3 finishers of the race. And at this rate, it would be Dirtdude, Patrolhead, and Mushalot. So, we do wait for that to unfold, but at the same time, we are still far from finished. With about 14 minutes to go, it should be very, very close indeed. Mushalot, interestingly, is setting some very, very good laps right about now. So, Mushalot, I think, is the fastest guy on the track right about now. So let's continue to monitor this And he has just set the fastest Sector 2 of anybody all day today. So he is on an absolute charge right now in that 37 Porsche 911 RSR. He is a man on a mission right about now. The gap now, 5.2 seconds. Starting to go up. And he is on an absolute mad charge right about now. The big question is, with only half a tank left, can he make that fuel last for about 13 minutes? Is the big question. The gap now up front, 2.2 seconds, and is growing. So, I think Patrolhead didn't have the best exit out of Spoon, but can he make up time in the 130R just slightly? So this will be, this will be interesting to monitor. Let's take a look back at Barr, where he's got half fuel as well. So Mouchelat and Barr are pretty much on the same strategy. It's an alternate strategy from the rest of the field, but Mouchelat and Barr are on the same strategy. So we will continue to monitor that. But as for the guys up front, where it looks like they need to require a lot more fuel, they will need it. So can this strategy of Mouchelat try and work out where he's still 5.5 seconds down, and he's only 2 3/4 of a second off of Patrolhead, and it looks like Patrolhead, that gap to Durdude is starting to go up, unfortunately. And it looks like later in this race, with the lower weight of the fuel, tire wear might be going to the Aston Martin. So, and you can see how hard Patrolhead is really trying to push right now to get that Corvette on the top step of the podium. Of course, an Aston Martin here an Aston Martin won race 1 of the Pro-Am League at Bathurst in the hands of Kyle 22. We will be seeing that entry in the Pro Championship. But as of right now, it is the 14 Aston Martin, the sister car to the 22, that continues to lead the race. And this has just been very, very interesting strategic games between everybody, where you got the top 2 who are on pretty much identical strategies to Superboy and Chris the Crow, I'm pretty sure. And it looks like Chris the Crow might be on an identical strategy to Mouchelat and Barr. So we have split strategies between these guys, where we got 3 guys running with half a tank and then we have some of the field. Oh, and I think Patrolhead's put a foot wrong, and it's allowed Mouchelat to sneak up into 2nd place. Oh my goodness me, Patrolhead, who had been leading the majority of this race, has put her foot wrong somewhere. I might try and get James Head to identify what had gone wrong there in this race, but he's going to try and dive down on the inside. Nothing doing there. And all of a sudden, we have Mouchelat, who started 2nd place, has gone up into 2nd place with just about 10 minutes to go. Oh my goodness me, drama is still forming in this race. And this race is, I mean, we're getting close to the race results, but with everything that stands right now, this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. So from my fellow steward here, James Head, Patrolhead made a mistake out of 130R and outbroke himself into the final corner. So, just like what we saw earlier, where Durdude and Patrolhead had that incident, pretty much within a couple corners of each other, within 130R and chicane. Patrolhead did it again on his part, where he outbroke himself once again into the final corner, and of course got a foot wrong there. So I appreciate my live steward James for that. About a battle for second going on right now, and at this rate, if Dirk check, and I'm saying that because he's made mistakes here today. Not saying he's going to make one, but things can still happen with 8.5 minutes to go. This is motorsport racing, so anything can happen between these guys. You have Mushalot, who's on an alternative strategy. He's trying to make the fuel last with about 8 minutes. Who pitted about 25 minutes ago. It was a very audacious strategy call. Pit with 25 minutes to go on the clock. And all of a sudden, this Porsche, which looked like it had an alternative strategy, it might be working out with him. As for Barr and Chris the Crow, not so much, because Barr might have to make another stop, but all of a sudden, Patrolhead is having a very, very hard time trying to get past Mushalot. Of course, Patrolhead putting the defense on him, and Mushalot all of a sudden is making it very, very difficult. And Mushalot, of course, setting the fastest lap of the race, a 2 minute 4:38. So that's a very, very strong performance for this guy. You could tell he was very, very pushing indeed late in this race. So the last 5 laps: 2:01.8, 2:01.4, 2:00.4, 2:01.1, and 2:00.7. And then 2:02.1, and then 2:01.3, 2:01.4, and that has been the pace that Mushalot has been showing. So all of a sudden, he's turned the wick up to 110% and is very, very flying on this Suzuka circuit. All of a sudden, oh, and Patrolhead's put a foot wrong. He's spun it out of the. They spun it out of the spoon. He's got to get it pointed the right direction because Superboy is coming. Oh, and he's gone wide as well. Oh my goodness me. And all of a sudden, Patrolhead's getting it sideways. Oh my God. And Patrolhead, who had been within the top half of the race, puts it foot wrong. And Superboy in the Mercedes is now up into third. And Patrolhead will be absolutely fuming within that driver's suit and that driver's helmet. He's going to be on an absolutely mad dash for the cash right about now if he can try and get back up. He could have had second, but all of a sudden, he's just put it wrong when you least expect it. And you can see Superboy off into the distance. Mushalot, who had to withstand a lot of pressure from Patrolhead, who had overdone himself and unfortunately got it wrong in the spoon. So this course, taking no prisoners, and the Corvettes, which were showing extremely strong pace early in this race, once again just absolutely faltering late in this race. And they're making up 4th and 5th right about now. And Chris the Crow right here, who will come in, he will pit late with about 5 minutes to go just to make sure he gets his way to the end of the race, in case any shenanigans do seem to arise. So Dude, who looked to put his foot wrong in the wrong places, with about 5 minutes to go, is looking set to take his first win of the season. His first start of the season, because we did not see him, of course, at Bathurst, of course. So it was down to the one Aston Martin of Kyle 22. Like I said, we'll move up into the Pro Division, and Dude all of a sudden out of Sector 3, a 10th faster than Mushalot's fastest lap. Can he purple Sector A lap and get something out of this? Looking very, very good indeed. Can he make the fastest lap work? He's going to look it right down to the inside. Yes, he will, for by a 1/10 and a half. 2 minute 2:89 for the man up in front. The man in fine form, who has regained his consciousness from earlier and is able to set foot and go on. Oh, and Mushalot's picked up a 1-second penalty somewhere. So all of a sudden, Mushalot has got to get rid of that penalty so he doesn't get served it, so he doesn't get added as a post-race penalty. Patrolhead now. He's now 25 seconds down off of Dude. And I'd say, unfortunately for him, with about 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go, that might be a race done for him, unfortunately. The damage he had inflicted is pretty much just cost himself a potential race win here, unfortunately. So, not a good day for these Corvettes, which were looking very, very strong indeed. Oh, he almost puts a foot wrong as I exit that shot of Patrol Head. So a very, very close showing right there. Superboy holding on into third. Mushalot with about 2 minutes. He is going to be very, very close on fuel at this rate. I would not be surprised if he's saving fuel in that Porsche. And Superboy, he's actually he's making the distance up on Mushalot. So Mushalot might be saving fuel. So this will be interesting to look at when we So with about 2 minutes to go left, third dude is going to have another lap. He will have another lap. The question is, I think Mushalot might or might not have another lap. So this could theoretically be the final lap for second place downward. And Superboy has got to make an absolute charge up to that Porsche if he wants any form of points. He's going to want more points than he's already got today from third, but he's going to try and make something work out of second. Oh, and he's put a foot wrong probably, but keeps it on the course and makes it very, very work. I think Mushalot might be trying to accelerate to stay on that lead lap. And you can see the times right there from his 201s all of a sudden to a 204 and to a 203. So yes, he is definitely saving the fuel. Durdude will have another lap, and I think he is going to inherit that win because of the fact that these guys are going to have no more laps. Oh, take a look at this, and all of a sudden we have a battle for 5th and 6th. So Chris the Crow might be getting in on some action finally. So this is very, very good for the man who didn't have a good showing here this race so far. So the tires might be working out very, very well. I assume Barr had to make a splash and dash. So Durdude is going to come across the line for the final lap of this race. A white flag is in the air. And Mushalot, oh, this is going to be all so close indeed. I think he might be trying to consolidate that second. 3, 2, 1, and it is the final lap. So Mushalot is going to come across the line for second. Actually, he will get another lap. And Superboy, unfortunately, is going to have to consolidate that third. So a third place finish for Superboy, and Patrolhead, who looked very, very strong in this race, will unfortunately pick up a P4 finish. Oh, look at this battle right here for 5th and 6th right there. Chris the Crow, can he try and sneak a position up for a top 5 finish over Barr, who is on considerably worse tire wear than he is? Can he dive it down the inside maybe? Nothing there, maybe. Oh, it's so close indeed. All Barr has to do is just take the line considerably well. Oh, and Chris the Crow has gone a little wide. It's oh so close indeed, but Barr is just going to hang on for a top 5 finish. And now with Mushalot now has nothing to worry about, can turn the fuel wick up to 6 and just coast his way onto a finish in P2. So a very audacious strategy to hit with 25 minutes to go has worked in his favor. So that's very, very good right there for him. Lowheads 579 Art says not bad for third. A very strong showing for third, of course, in the Mercedes. For the final time now, Durdude coming through 130R and to the chicane. with a chaotic race that unfolded here today. It could have been anybody, but of course, Dirt Dude stuck it out in the end in the 14 Aston Martin. But coming across to the final corner right now, coming across the start finish line one more last time, flashing the lights, Dirt Dude 14 is going to win Pro-Am is going to win round 2 of the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship at Suzuka in the Pro-Am division. And the 37 Porsche has run out of fuel and is just coasting to the line now. Can he make it to the line with 16 seconds to go to be able to be classified? He's just right about there. Coming across the line right now. Yes, he will be classified for second place. What a race of attrition for most of these guys. Dirt Dude hanging on for the win. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. So there you go. The 14 Aston Martin of Dirt Dude 14 taking the win in Pro-Am at round 2 of the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship at Suzuka. While we do that, we will get our podium finishers within the party, of course, and we can interview them. So while I do that, because I have music playing in the background, unfortunately, I will have to mute myself. So Dirt Dude, Mushalot, and Supra Boy. So there are the podium finishers, of course. So now we wait for our fellow podium finishers to join in the pit party box, and we do have Superboy 580R here, of course, in the third place finishing Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG GT3. That was an interesting race, Superboy. How would you describe your own race after a solid third place?
Yeah, it turned out alright. I just got a bit unlucky on the corner before the tunnel. I think I must have gone a bit wide, and I think I must have caught a bit of the AstroTurf or the gravel, and it just completely unbalanced my car.
Yeah, it looked like you were struggling a little bit with the car a bit. So you definitely got it working in the right direction later, and so I mean, of course, with the first, how would you describe the first 10 minutes of the race with the amount of mass chaos going, pretty much having the whole field turn on its head?
Yeah, I was chasing up to the dude in his Aston Martin. I know Aston Martins are really good on some tracks. When he went really wide on the after the S's, I just said, thank you, dude. And then kept the lead for about a lap or two, and the mistake happened.
Yeah, it sounded like...
The only problem with...
I'm sorry, go on.
The only problem with the SLS is that it kind of understeers ever so often.
Yeah, so it looked like it was an up and down race for you, obviously, and obviously it was kind of like a race for attrition, obviously. So a strong P3 for Superboy 580R, and we do still wait for the others to come in, but unfortunately,
a little redemption on the disqualification from the last race.
Yeah, it looked like you were able to get some strong points after an unfortunate disqualification because of lack of decals for that. But yeah, so I'm not sure if we're gonna hear from Dirt Dude and Mushalot, unfortunately, after the race. But in the case that it does happen, I will have him for the pro live stream as well. So thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in into the Straight Line Motorsports GT3 Championship, round number 2 at Suzuka for the Pro-Am division. We will have the pro guys step in now. Until next time, I have been SDM_RRDZ. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.